If I am a woman and I stay with my husband for 1 year and we got separated for 30 years, and after the 1 year of our separation, he went in to marry somebody else without dissolving the marriage with me, and he lived with that other person for 35 years before he dies. When he died, I am the only lawful wife. You cannot keep any other marriage in addition to an ordinance marriage under Ghanaian law. Now, I give you a very classic case. It's about the case of Asamoah Gyan versus Gifty Jan. There's an interesting case I talked about in this video when it comes to the subject of marriage and its legal issues. Ghanaians do not want to learn these 4 lessons. And in this video, I want to share with you this lesson so that you don't become the next Ghanaian who will not learn and apply the legal lessons that I'm going to share in this video. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and do like this video and also share with someone so that we get many people educated about the legal implications of marriages under Ghanaian law. I am Gordon Selassie Dakpo, and this is Make It Legal. Make it legal. You know, on this channel, we dedicate ourselves to educating you and explaining all the laws of Ghana to you so you can understand them and ensure that you conduct your life in accordance with the law. So avoid problem that comes when you breach the law. So we want to focus in this video to 4 specific lessons that I believe that every man or woman in marriage or that would be in marriage one day need to be aware of. And these lessons are picked from a number of cases which have occurred within the country. And these lessons are also gleaned from the laws of the Republic. I want you to pay attention to them, pick some lessons and ensure that they guide you. Now, what is the first important lesson I think that Ghanaians are not learning and applying to their marital life when it comes to the issue of marriage and its legality under the law? That first lesson is that you cannot keep any other marriage with an ordinance marriage. Now, this is important, so let me repeat it for you to get it. You cannot keep any other marriage in addition to an ordinance marriage under Ghanaian law. Once it is called an ordinance marriage and you have contracted that ordinance marriage either in court, before a marriage officer in your church, or before the principal registrar of marriages at the district assembly or at the registrar general's department, you cannot add another marriage to it. Now, whether the marriage you want to add is an ordinance marriage, a customary marriage, a Mohammedan marriage, or whatever kind, you cannot add it to ordinance marriage. Ordinance marriage, it is one man, one woman affair for life. It means that once you get into it with that woman or that man, it is that man alone and that woman alone for the rest of your life. That is the first lesson I want you to note. There are different kinds of marriages. We have customary marriages, we have ordinance marriages, and we also have Mohammedan marriages. These are permitted under Ghanaian law, and you can contract them. For customary law marriages, you can marry as many women as you can harmoniously live with. If you can live with 10 and there will be peace, please go ahead and marry 10. If your religious beliefs and other values of your life as a person are okay that you can have multiple wives, you can go ahead and do it. The law will permit you. The same way, if you are Muslim, you can marry up to 4. And if you want to add another one to be the 5th one, you have to retire one of them. That is how it is under the Mohammedan rules. So you are permitted to marry as many as you can if you are marrying under customary law, and you can marry up to 4 if you are married under the Mohammedan law. But the 3rd type, which is the ordinance marriage, also called Christian marriage or court marriage, if you choose that one, you can only have one man and one woman, the two of you, for the rest of your life. If you add any other marriage to an ordinance marriage, that add-on or that second marriage is void in the eyes of the law. It does not even exist by the law. The law says it is void ab initio, and it simply means from the very beginning you thought about doing it, and the very things you started doing to ensure that second marriage is brought to light, those things are all void. They stand on nothing legal and they are not legal. So you have to note this as a man or woman who is in marriage, that If you are having an ordinance marriage, then it must be that marriage alone, and no other marriage can be added to it. That is my first lesson for you. Now, I give you a very classic case, and I have had the opportunity to talk about that case. You can watch that video in the description column of this video. It is about the case of Asamoah Gyan versus Gifty Gyan. There's an interesting case I talked about in this video, and I'm referring to this video. Take time and watch it. Now, what are the brief facts of that case? Asamoah Gyan had married Gifty Gyan, and they've been together for some years. They had children together and all of that. But Asamoah Gyan went to court to say that, you know what, the marriage I had with Gifty Gyan was never a good marriage, was never valid, and should be nullified by the court. And the court says that, well, I've listened to you and all the evidence. It shows clearly that before Gifty Gyan got married to you, Gifty Gyan had actually contracted a marriage with somebody else. The person was in Italy, and Gifty Gyan married that person under the ordinance. And she entered into that marriage, of course, for immigration purposes. She entered into the marriage because she needed an invitation from a spouse outside, that is in Italy, so that she can go to Italy for medical purposes, according to the story or the facts. So Gifty Gyan had that marriage, went to the assembly and went to the process and had the marriage done. The husband in that marriage invited her to Italy for the medical purposes, and she went and came back. Now, when she got back to Ghana, she did not take any step to ensure that she nullified that ordinance marriage she had with the person in Italy. Then later on, when she was deciding to marry Asamoah Gyan, she went ahead and married Asamoah Gyan without dissolving that first ordinance marriage. And the law is that you cannot add any other marriage to ordinance marriage. What it means is that the marriage she had, which was subsequent to the marriage she had first with the Italian person, that marriage with Asamoah Gyan is not valid because the Asamoah Gyan's marriage with her is being added to the one she has with the person in Italy. This is a classical case of the lesson that you just cannot add any other form of marriage to an ordinance marriage. I believe this lesson is well learned and you become a doer of what it says. Let's go to lesson number 2. The second lesson I want to share with you when it comes to the subject of marriage under the law is that ordinance marriage, no matter where it is contracted, can only be dissolved by death of either party or by dissolution of the marriage in a court of law. Now, let me say that again. Ordinance marriage, no matter where it is contracted, can only be dissolved or can only come to an end by dissolution in a court or by death of either party. Ordinance marriage does not come to an end by any other means apart from these two means. The first is that either the man or the woman is dead, then the marriage has come to an end. So you know when you are going to marry, you take a vow and you always say that you are taking this person as your lawfully wedded wife or lawfully wedded husband till death do you part. So once death comes in, you are indeed done apart with each other. The marriage has ended. You have to go your separate ways. All that you have is a widow recognition or a widower recognition right. So the marriage comes to an end once either party dies. This is very important. So what it means also is that upon the coming to an end of the marriage, either of you is free to remarry if you want to. If your religious rules permit that you can remarry and you really desire to remarry, you are okay remarrying, taking into account all the implications of that decision. If you are okay, you can remarry because you don't have any marriage subsisting again. The first one has ended by reason of death. This is important. Now, the second scenario is that marriage can only be ended or dissolved or brought to an end by dissolution in court, by what we call divorce. You can only go to court and have the court grant you an order of divorce before you can say that the ordinance marriage has come to an end. Now, without the divorce, you cannot say that it has come to an end. So far as two of you are alive, the marriage is subsisting. You can be angry with each other. You can be fighting and separate. You can do all kinds of things. You can hate each other so badly. That marriage is still subsisting. This is very important. And that is lesson number 2 for you. It is happening a lot in our courtrooms. People have married and they think that the fact that they have gotten a side chick and that side chick is serving them well They don't need their wife or husband again, so they are fine. There's no marriage. They keep on living on with their life. We're just waiting for the time you die. The issues will come up, because once you die, somebody must be a qualified spouse or a qualified husband or wife to benefit or to take care of your assets. So if you do not want to pick this lesson and apply it to your life, you will have challenges when you die, and you will leave a very bad reputation behind. People will fight over your assets or your estates, and it will not be good for your good name that you might have left behind. That is lesson number 2 for you. The third lesson is that when you have an ordinance marriage, you cannot have a side chick or have sex with another man or woman outside that marriage. No two ways about it. When you have an ordinance marriage, you are entitled as a man or woman to have sex with only one partner for life. This is what the law says. If you have sex with another man as a married woman who has married under the ordinance, the law is that that act of sex outside the marriage is called adultery. When you come to your sex life, it's going to be only one woman throughout your life till you die. That's one woman. She alone will be the person who will be your sex partner. And if you're a woman too, that man is going to be your sex partner all your life. Once you choose to have ordinance marriage, that is the jealousy of the ordinance marriage. You cannot just argue with it. It is a law. If you choose to disobey this law, just go have a side chick and sleep outside the marriage, you will see what it will result to. Number 1, it is a ground for dissolving the marriage. The marriage can be cancelled, can be dissolved or terminated or brought to an end, so that the woman can be free to probably go remarry somebody else. If you're enjoying this video so far, you want to support us to do more, and we want to encourage you to be a part of the family. Go to the comment section, drop a comment, share your thoughts, ask a question, and contribute to the topic of the day. Let's have some interaction there. And if you are yet subscribed to the channel, do so by clicking on the subscription button right here. It has not buy, just click it and be a part of us. And please be a good ambassador by sharing our video on all platforms. Share it on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, share it on X, share it on YouTube, share it on your WhatsApp status. Just share it, and let everybody get to know the enlightenment that you have become exposed to by reason of this channel. We are making legal, and we do all things legal because that is our belief, that all things must be legally done. Now let's talk about lesson number 4. Now lesson number 4 is very simple, and it says that separation, no matter how long or how wide or how short, cannot constitute a dissolution of an ordinance marriage. Separation, no matter how, it could be that you are separated by being in the US and your husband is in Ghana, or you are in Canada, your husband is in UK. That sort of separation, either it's a distance or whatever that has brought about the separation, no matter how it came about, no matter what it is described, once you are separated, it cannot amount to divorce or dissolution of the marriage. Now, a classical case you need to know about is a case which is pending in court now, so I wouldn't talk about the merit. It's a case that is happening between the spouse and the family of Daddy Lumba, your favorite musician, our celebrity musician, the love story writer and the love story singer. This gentleman has had a wife before, and that wife spent some time with him. They built some things together, and they have had a marriage which was subsisting. And according to the fact, it was an ordinance marriage. And this man subsequently in life had married another person without first dissolving that old marriage. And that old marriage, of course, they have not been together for about 15 years, as the fact says. And they not dissolving that marriage raises a legal issue, which they are in court for the court to pronounce on. But the truth, as we know it from the law, is that once an ordinance marriage is still subsisting, you cannot add another marriage to it. So the court will determine whether or not that marriage they have added to it is valid or is null. And if it is nullified, then are the persons entitled to any spousal right after the death of Daddy Luba? Those are the things the court will determine. And that is what I leave for the court to determine. Now, some of the reasons we have to be explaining this to you to understand is because of the perceptions we have about how things should be, the sentimental expressions and our opinion based on societal feelings, societal perceptions, and all of that. It's why we need to explain the law to you in a very basic term without mentioning sessions and constitution and act of parliament and all that, so you understand. Take a look at this video.
Still our regional and nice so. Brakwesi, ye na ye nim efie mu akan mu amamre mu efie bi wo ho no ma obi wo ho a ne maame ne ne papa o megya ware o. But say formally ye cancel wo court ni we no na ye nye but aware ni de egu. Is there? Brakwesi, there are people that are yes emre mu no ma ware o, but so mummy enu amuti so okunu ni oyiri ni eni ho egu. But maybe formally yen koyin fi mre mu say ya divorce ya san ya se formally.
So I mean, this woman is just speaking what a lot of you might have been thinking about too. She's saying what she feels and what she thinks is right. So nobody on earth can convince her that all the 15 years of separation between the first wife and Daddy Luba, the marriage between them was still subsisting. That's what she thinks. She thinks the marriage is dead because Daddy Luba and the first wife were not together. They've separated. But as you are getting to know now, the separation, no matter how long, no matter how described, does not nullify the existence of ordinance marriage. The marriage is still subsisting. If you are wise, or you know the right things to do, or you have been well advised, when you are separating because you don't want the marriage again, go cancel or dissolve the marriage. If you allow it to be there and you still go on with your normal life and you are doing your own things, or because you think that when you go to court for divorce, your properties will be brought to issue and they'll be dissolved and they'll be shared among people, so because of that you'll not dissolve the marriage, you will enjoy your life and all of that, well, you may leave two men fighting over who is actually your wife. And this fight will continue, especially when we get to the issue of property rights, who takes what and all of that. It will be a lot of fight. And if there are no wills left behind, it even makes the case very worse, because the woman who might have stayed with you in your latter part of years would also be claiming to have some right to enjoy or share in the properties you've left behind. But as morally as that sounds, that is not just the requirement of the law. If I am a woman and I stay with my husband for 1 year and we got separated for 30 years, and after the 1 year of our separation, he went in to marry somebody else without dissolving the marriage with me, and he lived with that other person for 35 years before he dies. When he died, I am the only lawful wife, because the marriage we had was ordinance and was never dissolved. These educations are important for you to pick a lesson or two, and I believe you've done that. So go ahead and be a good ambassador by sharing our video wide to everyone. Let them know what we talk about on this channel. And as you know it, I am Gordon Selassie Dakbo, and this is Make It Legal. Make it legal.